What's going on? It's Mike from 424recording.com. Today's video, we're talking morning pages. I'm actually recording this through the Tascam Model 12 too. A couple people had expressed interest in hearing the compressor on vocals. So I decided to record my video podcast. That's what I'm calling this today. This audio will also be available on the Analog Thoughts podcast. So I'm going to release a special episode because a bunch of people also have been expressing interest in more podcast episodes. So if you like these kind of videos and these kind of thoughts about creativity and some tips and hacks, let me know and I'll incorporate them more so into the channel again. But anyway, this is my Model 12 I got from Zounds, hashtag not sponsored. But if you are interested in this mixer or any other gear this fall, you're going to pick anything up, check out my website, 424recording.com. I've got some affiliate links there. It's a really easy way to help out the channel at no cost to you, but just promise me you won't gas too hard. So I've been kind of incorporating what would have been more podcast episodes onto my Patreon too, patreon.com/424recording. So I've been making a lot of writing blog posts that probably on topics that would have become podcasts in the past. I'll just get into the post. So 1 year of morning pages. I just realized it's been 1 year since I started doing morning pages. That's awesome. To be honest, I haven't done them every single day over the past year, but there's a few good reasons as to why. The main one being, after a while, it didn't feel like I needed to. There's some other reasons too, like time and waking up late, but for the most part, I stuck to morning pages and made it happen at other points throughout the day on days when I didn't want to miss doing it. I guess these pages would be considered afternoon pages or evening pages. Morning pages makes me think about routine and the power of it and how important it is to develop a routine early on in the process of starting a new one. Now, morning pages feels like something I am familiar with and enjoy rather than something that is cumbersome or uncertain. The fact that I pushed through the early days of doing them and established a routine made all the difference. Initially, I wrote almost every day at the same time in the morning in the same place with the same pen, which is another important part of the routine, making sure you have a pen you are comfortable using. I actually found these Pilot V7 retractable pens I enjoy using because they are similar to the Pilot V7s I grew up using, which are basically the best pen ever made if you've never used them. But anyway, routine is probably the most important aspect to accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish. Each day is 3 pages, but over the course of a year, I filled 6 college-ruled notebooks. Every wall is built 1 brick at a time. It's like the channel too. 1 or 2 videos a week starts to add up. I think we're actually coming up on 424 videos, which is pretty insane. I could have never done that had I thought about doing that many, and by focusing on the routine and the deadline of at least a video a week, Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern, all those videos add up over the course of putting them out for 3+ years. Which is why if you want to accomplish something big or life-changing, the best way to do that is through a routine which focuses on the present. What is one step you can take today to get you there? It's the same with weight loss or bodybuilding. What you do every day towards those goals is how they get accomplished. The choices you make every single day is where the power lies. It's compound interest, or the gains of one day cascading into the next. It's easy to get overwhelmed thinking about goals in the long term and then give up. Now that morning pages is an established task for me, it's something I can use to enhance my life. It's another tool in the toolkit. I've transformed from someone who runs into a runner, if that makes sense. Morning pages is also useful for working through problems and gaining mental clarity. I think that's the absolute biggest benefit for me. Mental health-wise, morning pages is a game changer. Morning pages clears you out mentally, brain dump style, and gets all the trash out right in the beginning of the day. Gets all that fucking bullshit out of there. The key is not to let anyone put anything else in there, but if they do, you can always dump it out the next day or whenever you have time and the stationery. Aside from the cost of the pen and paper, it's a free way to enhance your life immediately. Again, like running or walking, all you need is a pair of shoes to change your life. That is really what I noticed on days I don't do morning pages. The mental fog starts to settle in. I'm more easily agitated. But again, the good news is if you've got 30 to 45 minutes and a pen and some paper, you can turn your outlook and day around if you feel like you need to. Now, you also don't have to write for 3 pages, but they say you get the biggest benefit from doing so. I'm not sure why. I think for me, at the 2 to 2.5 page mark is where I feel like I get the most out of it. After that, the entry devolves into a cheerleading session with me writing exclamations like, "You've got this," or "Go get it, bro," which honestly, come to think of it, is beneficial for me in its own right. If you don't encourage or cheer yourself on, who will? I'm trying to think of downsides, but it's honestly tough to come up with any. I guess one would be spending the time it takes to write the 3 pages. A lot of days I had to wake up earlier in order to get it done. I figured out that my biological prime time, or the time of day when I'm most productive, is from when I wake up to around noon, and I need to defend that time from people, social media, and distractions at all costs. A well-lived day for me is getting what I want to get done for the day by noon. Anything after that I consider a bonus. So the apparent downside would be that morning pages eats into my most productive hours. In reality, if morning pages causes me to wake up earlier, it's actually a hack to make my most productive time of day even more productive. It's not a downside at all. It warms me up and revs the engines. Usually by the end of a morning pages session, it's like peeling out at the starting line. The trade-off of the time it takes for morning pages is always worth it. Like any investment, you trade off a resource in the short term to gain a long-term benefit. Also, if you're all about instant gratification, you see the benefit from morning pages as soon as you complete it. In the beginning, for me, morning pages was an outpouring of emotions, like all this stuff in my head had been all dammed up, but now it all flows like a stream or river. There used to be days when I felt like I couldn't stop writing about things I was thinking about problems I was trying to solve, things I had to do for the day, things that happened to me in the past, things that I wanted for my future, etc. It was nonstop. And now I think this is also the reason I take some days off. I feel like my mind is clear and I don't need the benefit of doing morning pages. I had a lot of shit to throw out and now my house is clean. I'm more in maintenance mode now. Morning pages is also like exercise for your mind. You'll start to crave it when you don't do it. It's also a great warm-up for the day and a great way to schedule out the day. It also helps you focus on what's important and also figure out what's important to you. It can also just be gibberish if you want, and a way to clean out your mind stream of consciousness style. That's the cool thing about it too. It can be whatever you want or need it to be, and you don't need to do it for any of the reasons I've detailed. The big thing for me with morning pages is knowing when to walk away. There are some days when it's a struggle to write 3 pages and it feels like a waste of time to write nonsense to fill up the page, but I always try to get 3 pages completed. I feel like there's always a benefit that comes out of doing so. Even if it counts as a simple accomplishment for the day, I struggled to write 3 pages this morning, but I did it. It's something you finished for the day. It's something you can feel good about. It's a win right out of the gate. So yeah, give it a shot if any of this sounds useful to you. By the way, you just listened to my morning pages for the day.